Okay, so this has been a spear that I've had since my Spartan epic, pretty much. So I've been using it over the years for the pirates and all sorts. And it kind of, I just use this as like a broom handle, and then I kind of ordered this piece. So when they advertise it, they obviously have the stick with it, and then you buy it and then you realize it just shows up with this plastic bit. So again, a bit wobbly because it's not reinforced in there, but I still like the feel of it. It's very big, so it does look pretty scary and intimidating, especially up close. And you know, I'm not doing 3D or anything, and that'll be out of focus, but I just added this bit of rope to give it like a little bit of, you know, character, and also to cover up my gaffer tape there. So gaffer tapes come in handy with a lot of my costumes and shields because you arrive and it's like flimsy, so you just try and reinforce it, and it's multi-purpose tape, and it's my best friend, I think, gaffer tape. So it keeps stuff secure. But yeah, that's kind of my spear, and I'm still using it in my current epic. It's fantastic, you know. I mean, obviously real spears have been a lot longer. I worked on Clash of Titans 2 where we had sarissas for the first few days or the first week, and they're 6 to 12 foot, and the 12-foot ones would have been impossible, but we had 6 to 8 feet, and then they ditched them after a couple of days because there's too much hassle running around and basically storing and all that stuff. So we did train with them, we didn't practice with them, and yeah, this is what I've got now. Little baby version, but it's got a big sort of spearhead. Surprise, surprise. So it's always that kind of weird ratio of sizes where it's either too small or too big or a mix of the two. But yeah, that's the main spear, my OG one. All right, let me show you the other one, my new one. So this is my latest spear. I ordered the spearhead, a bit of drama sort of getting it, like it didn't really arrive. It said it was delivered. Amazon said it was delivered and it wasn't. So I contacted the guy. I was like, yo, where's the spearhead? It said it arrived and it didn't. And then they said that it was sent. And then I was like, well, I want a refund or I want a replacement. And then it arrived a few days later, and then I told them it was all good. So this is actually authentic metal. So you could probably do some damage with that if you really want. But the problem is I've had to gaffer tape it here because it was just like fall off. A real thing would be you'd have to Dremel through it, but I don't have like a metal drill bit, you know, so I've just gaffer taped it. And you know, in wide shots, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It just like gives you a bit of weight at the end. So it's a bit more authentic than the other one. The other one's got a longer sort of, you know, like spear tip or whatever, but this is like really cool, you know, like, I mean, it's my latest sort of toy, and I'm probably going to do some filming with it tonight, so all right, so that's it for the spears, and let's move on. Now this is the pilum. This is part of the Roman part of the Descendant epic, and obviously this was just a bit of sort of skewer or whatever that I've like taped up, and then I added some, again, the material, and then some red sort of lace or like a shoelace or whatever around it. And this is another broom handle. So I've employed broom handles quite a bit. Now the pilum was designed originally to basically pierce shields, and then it would be stuck in the shield. So a lot of the time the shield would be redundant and they'd have to lose their shield. So that's why they're designed. So they're a bit like a spear or a javelin, but this was specifically designed by the Romans to kind of kick the butts out of, like, you know, enemies with shields, pretty much. You could use it as a stabbing, but then it'd probably be a bit flimsy. So a lot of the time it'd be used as a spear javelin, and then, as I said, it would like break shields sometimes, or if you get that and stuck in someone, obviously it would do some damage too, but that wasn't its main purpose. So they would have had the gladius, the pilum, they would have had the big shields, the scutum or scutum. But yeah, the pilum is basically one of the pinnacle designs to really help the Romans kind of, you know, conquer all the lands that they did. They kicked a lot of barbarians' butt, the Gauls and all that. They would have used this extensively throughout their campaigns. I loved it so much I had to recreate it because you can't really buy it anywhere. This would have actually been in the middle, but because I can't drill in there and I can't redesign that because it's all like lightweight and flimsy, I just had it on the side. But you know, in like action shots you can't really tell. Or I hope not anyway. So you wouldn't really use it like a spear like that, like a jabbing one. As I said, it's more like the throwing javelin type. So they had like regiments of like javelin, skirmishers. They would have had slingers, if you know what slingers, so where the slingshot was invented. They would have had those guys like sling out sort of rocks and stuff like that. And they hired like foreigners and stuff a lot of times. So when they conquer lands, they'd introduce them into their army, and then they'd have all these different sections. But the main Roman, like, you know, armor or, you know, soldier would have actually had a pilum a lot of the time because they really did conquer and kick a lot of butt. Okay, let's move on to the last spear. Now this spear, again, it's got the fleur-de-lis on the top, which again I found here. I can't remember why we had it and stuff like that, but I kept them for some reason. So this wasn't actually part of the original history. This is fleur de lis, which came later in the French Empire when they really expanded and became like quite big. But yeah, again, wrapped around the red material. Well, that's come a bit loose there because it's seen better days. And then this is just some lace there just to give it a bit of sort of flair and a bit of, you know, kind of, I don't know, funny look or whatever, to spin around. So I've used this a couple times for my epics, but not too much. But I prefer this one because I've reinforced the middle, so it's not this lightweight plastic flimsy thing. So it's a bit more sturdy and you can kind of like jab a bit more than you have to worry about it wobbling as much. But yeah, it still looks really cool and authentic. Don't know if that's on Fat Llama for sale, but for rental, I mean. But yeah, it's part of my extended kind of spears. So I'll probably use it at some point in my next epic. I don't know where yet. We'll see. Okay, all right, I think that's it for the spears.